Night keeps time differently. The hours no longer lean forward with their hands out, asking what you will finish next. The minutes are not gathering behind you. Nothing is measuring how quickly you answer, how efficiently you move, or how much more you can carry before you finally admit that you have carried enough. Here, time moves without urgency. It passes quietly beside you. It does not tug at your sleeve. It does not ask you to catch up. The pace that ruled the day has no authority in these darker, quieter hours. Its rules belong to a place you have already left. The demands that seemed so immediate have begun to lose their sharp edges. The voices that needed an answer can wait. The decisions that followed you from room to room do not need to be settled from where you are now. Night does not count your worth in completed tasks. It does not compare the hour you hope to have with the hour you actually lived. It does not ask whether you used your time well enough. It lets time become wide again. There is space here for an unfinished thought to remain unfinished. There is space for a question to have no answer. There is space for your body to move at the pace it has been requesting all day, instead of the pace the world kept pressing upon it. You do not have to race the dark. The dark is not going anywhere. You do not have to make good use of these minutes. They are already good because they are asking nothing from you. You have reached the part of the day where effort can end without explanation. You have reached the part where your shoulders no longer need to prove how much they can bear. You have reached the quiet boundary beyond which no new responsibility has the right to follow unless it is truly necessary. Much of what felt urgent will look different after the night has passed. Some of it will become smaller. Some of it will solve itself without your involvement. Some of it will still be waiting, but waiting does not make it dangerous. A task can remain undone without becoming a judgment against you. A message can remain unanswered without meaning you have failed someone. A room can stay imperfect. A plan can stay uncertain. A conversation can be continued another day. Your life does not fall apart because you stop touching it for a few hours. You are not the only force keeping everything in place. You may have lived as though you were. You may have learned to remain watchful even when there was nothing more you could reasonably do. You may have trained yourself to scan for the next need before the present one had even been met. You may have become so familiar with readiness that quiet feels unfamiliar, almost suspicious. When the pace slows, your mind may try to fill the empty space. It may bring you the sentence you wish you had said. It may replay the expression on someone's face. It may open tomorrow before today has fully closed. It may present every unfinished matter as though it must be handled before your eyes can grow heavy. This is not proof that you are doing the night incorrectly. It is only the mind continuing the rhythm it practiced for many hours. It has been listening for requests. It has been sorting details. It has been trying to protect you from mistakes, disappointment, conflict, and surprise. It may not know yet that the clock has changed. The clock of night is slower. It has room for silence between thoughts. It has room for your breath to find its own depth. It has room for the muscles around your eyes to stop concentrating. It has room for you to be a person, not a response to everything around you. You do not need to force your thoughts away. You do not need to argue with them until they become quiet. They can pass through at their own pace while you remain where you are. A thought can arrive without becoming an assignment. A memory can rise without requiring a conclusion. A worry can speak without being obeyed. Your mind may keep turning for a while, and still your body can begin to settle. These things are not in conflict. You can be on your way toward sleep even while a few parts of you are still remembering the day. You can be cared for before you feel completely calm. You can begin to loosen before every inner voice has agreed. There is no examination at the edge of sleep. There is no standard you must meet. You do not have to become peaceful enough to deserve the night. You only need to be here as you are. Perhaps you carried yourself through the day with a face that looked more certain than you felt. You answered in a steady voice while something inside you was asking for quiet. You kept your tone kind when your energy was thin. You found patience from a place that had already given most of what it had. Someone may have assumed you were fine because you continued. People often mistake continuation for ease. They see the meal prepared, the work submitted, the call returned, the child comforted, the promise remembered. They see what reached the surface. They do not always see how many times you gathered yourself before you did the next small thing. They do not see the thought you swallowed because someone else needed room to speak. They do not see the ache you placed to one side because the day had already decided what mattered first. They do not see the moment you stood alone and let your face change for only a few seconds before becoming composed again. They do not see how often you said, "It's okay," because explaining would have required more strength than you had available. They do not see the quiet calculations behind an ordinary answer. They do not see how carefully you kept worry from spilling into the lives around you. They do not see the effort hidden inside your gentleness. You may have protected other people from your exhaustion. You may have softened your words so they would not feel the full weight of what you were carrying. You may have listened when you wanted to be listened to. You may have encouraged someone while privately wondering where your own encouragement would come from. You may have made decisions while wishing someone else would tell you what was best. You may have been the calm person in a room that did not feel calm. You may have remembered details because forgetting them would have created more work for everyone later. You may have noticed what needed replacing, cleaning, arranging, paying, checking, planning, or repairing before anyone else saw it. This kind of labor often disappears into the day. It leaves no clear mark. There is no applause for remembering the small thing at the right time. There is no ceremony for keeping your irritation from becoming someone else's wound. There is no visible record of all the moments when you chose care over reaction. Your body remembers even when no one else does. It remembers the jaw that stayed firm. It remembers the breath that waited high in your chest. It remembers the hands that remained busy after they wanted to become still. It remembers the feet that kept moving. It remembers the eyes that stayed open to one more screen, one more detail, one more person needing reassurance. Your body has been present for every invisible effort. It has not missed a single one. It knows how much concentration it took to appear normal when your thoughts were crowded. It knows how much restraint it took not to say everything you felt. It knows how often you redirected yourself, corrected yourself, encouraged yourself, and kept yourself moving without anyone offering to take over. You may not have called any of this difficult. You may have told yourself that everyone has responsibilities. You may have minimized your own strain because someone else seemed to have more. You may have believed that being grateful meant you were not permitted to feel worn down. Shaw, attitude and weariness can exist in the same heart. Love and overwhelm can share the same day. You can care deeply about your life and still need distance from its demands. You can value the people around you and still need hours when no one speaks your name. You can be thankful for what you have and still admit that carrying it has sometimes been heavy. Nothing about this makes your love less sincere. It makes you human. Some of the weight came from what happened. Some came from what almost happened. Some came from what you feared might happen. Some came from preparing for outcomes that never arrived. The body does not always know the difference between an event and the long anticipation of an event. It can become weary from waiting, from wondering, from staying prepared. There may have been no single dramatic moment today. The day may have looked ordinary from the outside. Ordinary days can be deeply draining. 100 small pulls can tire you more than one large demand. A series of tiny decisions can leave the mind feeling as though it has crossed a great distance. Constant interruption can use more energy than visible labor. Remaining emotionally available can take strength that no one knows to count. You may have been interrupted before finishing a thought. You may have moved from one role into another without a true space between them. You may have carried work into home, home into work, one conversation into the next, one concern into every quiet moment. You may have been asked what you needed and found that you did not know. Not knowing does not mean you have no needs. It can mean you have been responding for so long that your own inner voice has grown quiet from waiting. It may still be there. It does not need to speak loudly now. It does not need to produce a perfect answer. It can return slowly. For these hours, your need does not have to be complicated. You need fewer demands. You need less vigilance. You need the relief of not being required to improve anything. You need to stop carrying the day as though it is still happening. The difficult conversation is not happening in this room now. The rushed moment is no longer unfolding. The mistake is not repeating itself in real time. The expression you keep remembering has already passed across that face. The sound of the phone, the pressure of the deadline, the tension in the air, the ache of being misunderstood, all of it belongs to hours that are no longer physically here. Your nervous system may still be responding as though those moments are close. You can meet that response with patience. You do not have to criticize yourself for remaining alert after the need for alertness has passed. You do not have to demand instant calm from a body that spent the day adapting. The slower clock does not punish you for taking time to arrive. It waits. It keeps the room open. It does not shut the door because you are still carrying a little noise inside. You may come into the night gradually. Why? One part of you may already be ready to lie down while another is still making lists. One part may feel relief while another remains afraid of what tomorrow will bring. One part may crave sleep while another believes staying awake will somehow keep life under control. All of these parts can be here. None of them need to be removed before you are cared for. The part that plans has worked hard. The part that worries has tried to keep you from being caught unprepared. The part that replays old words has been searching for understanding. The part that imagines tomorrow has been trying to protect you from uncertainty. They do not need to be silenced with force. They need to learn that they are no longer alone on duty. You are lying here now. The hour itself is helping you. The darkness around you has reduced the number of things you can reasonably do. This is not a limitation. It is a kindness. There are problems that cannot be solved well when you are depleted. There are choices that become clearer after the mind has stopped pressing against them. There are feelings that become less frightening when you no longer demand that they disappear. You do not have to solve your whole life from the most worn-out part of the day. You do not have to use your last strength to prepare for every possible future. You do not need to rehearse pain in order to prevent it. You do not need to remain mentally standing guard. The night is not asking you to abandon responsibility. It is asking you to put responsibility down where you can find it again. Nothing important is being thrown away. Nothing valuable is being neglected. You are only ending your shift. You may have forgotten that you were permitted to do that. Some responsibilities do not announce when enough has been done. They will accept every extra piece of energy you offer. They will let you continue checking, adjusting, and thinking until there is almost nothing left. Enough must sometimes be chosen. The world may not say it for you. A task may never turn toward you and declare that you have given enough attention. A person may continue needing things. A worry may continue producing new reasons to stay awake. A mind can always find another detail. Enough is not always the moment when everything is complete. Sometimes enough is the moment when you are no longer able to care for what matters with a clear and steady heart. Sometimes enough is the moment your body begins asking for a different kind of loyalty. You have been loyal to the day. You have answered it in many ways. You got up and entered it. You met what you could. You adapted when plans changed. You continued through moments that required more from you than expected. You endured things you would not have chosen. You offered kindness where you could. You kept going through private discomfort. You made it to this quieter side of the hours. The day does not need a second performance. You do not need to live it again in your thoughts to prove that you learned from it. You do not need to inspect every moment for hidden meaning. You do not need to decide whether you were good enough in every interaction. There may be things you wish you had done differently. You can care about them tomorrow. There may be words you wish you had not spoken. You can return to them with a clearer mind. There may be something you forgot. You can remember it later. There may be someone disappointed in you. Their disappointment does not need to lie in your bed. There may be uncertainty waiting outside these hours. It can wait outside. The slower clock gives no advantage to worry. It does not reward the person who remains awake the longest. It does not make tomorrow kinder because you suffered in advance. You have already thought about enough. You have already carried enough. You have already tried enough for one day. Let those words be received without debate. Not forever, not for every part of your life. Only for this day, only for this hour. Only for the version of you who has reached the edge of what can be given wisely. There is humility in stopping. There is honesty in recognizing that your strength has limits. There is care in refusing to spend tomorrow's energy before tomorrow arrives. You are not failing the people you love by becoming unavailable for a while. You are not failing your future by closing your eyes. You are not losing control because you are no longer monitoring every possibility. The things that truly belong to you will still belong to you after you have been quiet. The people who need your care will benefit from a version of you who has not been emptied completely. The work that matters will be met more clearly when your mind has had space. You are not required to disappear inside your responsibilities. Your needs are not an interruption to your usefulness. You do not need to earn these hours by reaching a certain level of exhaustion. You do not need to collapse before you are entitled to stop. You do not need to prove that you have tried every possible solution. The night does not ask for evidence. It receives you before you have explained yourself. It receives the day you had, not the day you wish you had presented. It receives your unfinished feelings. It receives your irritation, your tenderness, your uncertainty, and your quiet disappointment. It receives the part of you that is proud of how you managed. It receives the part that believes you should have managed better. It receives all of you without requiring agreement between your different inner voices. You can be relieved and still unsettled. You can be grateful and still sad. You can be loved and still lonely. You can be capable and still worn down. You can have done your best and still wish the outcome were different. These truths do not cancel each other. You do not need to choose the most acceptable feeling before you can lie here in peace. The day may have left marks that words cannot fully name. A heaviness behind the eyes, a slight pressure in the chest, a sense of being filled with too much information, a desire to be comforted without having to tell anyone how, a wish for someone to understand before you begin explaining, a longing to be free from every role for a little while. You are not strange for wanting this. You are not selfish for needing quiet after giving attention. You are not cold for wanting distance after being emotionally present. You are not weak because ordinary things required unusual effort. You do not need to turn your exhaustion into a lesson immediately. You do not need to find the positive meaning in every difficult hour before you can close your eyes. Meaning can wait. Growth can wait. Understanding can wait. The night is not a classroom. It is not another place where you must perform well. You are not being graded on how peacefully you enter it. There is no prize for releasing everything quickly. You may set the day down unevenly. You may loosen your grip on one part while another stays close. You may feel your body become heavier while your thoughts remain active. You may drift near quiet and then return to a memory. Nothing has gone wrong. The slower clock includes all of this. It has no deadline for your settling. It does not become impatient when you circle the same thought. It does not tell you that you should be further along. You have spent enough hours being measured. You do not need to measure your progress towards sleep. You do not need to ask how relaxed you are. You do not need to check whether this is working. You can listen without achieving. You can lie here without improving. You can receive words without remembering them. You can let them pass through the room and fade wherever they fade. Your only work was the work of the day, and that work is behind you now. The night does not need a performance from you. It does not need your brightest self. It does not need your most patient voice. It does not need you to remain strong for anyone. It can meet the version of you who has no polished answer left. It can meet the version who is quiet because speaking feels like too much. It can meet the version who wants reassurance but cannot explain what kind. It can meet the version who has been brave for so long that bravery itself has become heavy. You are still worthy of care when you have nothing uplifting to say. You are still worthy when you are not inspiring. You are still worthy when you do not know what comes next. You are still worthy when all you can do is lie here and let the hours pass. The darkness is not asking you to become someone else before it shelters you. It asks nothing. This is why you can begin to stop asking things of yourself. You can stop asking for one more answer. You can stop asking for one more useful thought. You can stop asking yourself to predict, prepare, improve, or repair. You can stop asking your heart to be certain. You can stop asking your body to stay ready. The clock has slowed. The day is moving farther away. The room is becoming less connected to everything that demanded your attention. There is less to answer now, less to manage, less to prove. The sound of the world has begun to thin. You are not required to follow it. You can remain here. You can let the distance grow. The day had its hours with you. These hours are different. They belong to quiet. They belong to the part of you that does not need to produce anything. They belong to the breath that has been waiting beneath all the other breaths. They belong to the eyes that have looked at enough. They belong to the hands that have done enough. They belong to the heart that has carried both what was said and what remained unspoken. You have reached a slower place. Nothing is chasing you here, chasing you. Nothing needs to be caught. The minutes can pass without being used. The next hour can arrive without finding you prepared. Time itself can lie down beside you. You no longer need to keep pace with the day. What you carried did not always look heavy. Much of it arrived in forms that other people could not see. A tone you had to interpret, a silence you had to sit beside, a responsibility no one formally gave you, yet somehow you knew it would be yours if you did not take care of it. You carried the awareness of what might upset someone. You carried the knowledge of what had not been said. You carried the small details that kept the day from becoming harder for everyone else. You remembered who needed patience. You remembered what could not be forgotten. You remembered the things someone mentioned casually because you knew it mattered more than they let on. You kept track of what was running low. You thought ahead. You made space. You adjusted yourself. You may have entered rooms already aware of the mood inside them. Before anyone explained what was wrong, part of you had begun preparing. You watched faces. You listened beneath words. You sensed when to speak and when to make yourself quieter. That sensitivity can look effortless from the outside. It is not effortless. To remain aware of everyone while trying not to lose yourself takes energy. To keep peace without denying what you feel takes energy. To be considerate when your own heart is asking to be considered takes energy. Even love has weight when you carry it without relief. You may have spent the day doing small things for people who will never know those things required a decision. You chose not to add to their worry. You postponed a difficult subject. You changed your timing. You lowered your voice. You gave someone another chance to explain. You may have forgiven in a sharp response before they apologized. You may have understood their stress while yours remained unseen. You may have made room for the reason behind their behavior, even while the behavior hurt. Compassion is beautiful, but compassion without space to recover can become exhausting. You can understand someone and still feel wounded. You can know they did not intend harm and still feel the place where their words landed. You can recognize what they are going through without making your own experience disappear. You do not have to decide which person suffered more before your pain becomes worthy of care. There are no scales beside you now. No one is comparing your burden with another person's burden. You do not have to establish that the day was difficult enough. If it cost you strength, it mattered. If it changed the way you breathed, it mattered. If you carried it quietly, it still mattered. You may have spent hours appearing available when you wanted to withdraw. You may have answered questions while your thoughts were already crowded. You may have smiled because it was easier than explaining why you could not. There are days when even kindness feels like something you must lift. You still lifted it. You offered it. You handed it to people who may not have realized how little strength remained in your hands. No one may have seen the private negotiation before each ordinary action. The moment before you stood up, the effort before you replied, the breath before you entered another conversation, the silent promise that you would get through one more responsibility and then finally become still. The day kept adding one more thing. You kept moving the point where you would stop. You told yourself you would sit down after this task, then another task appeared. You thought you would have a quiet moment after that call, then someone needed you. You planned to breathe after the decision was made, but the decision created another concern. Your relief was repeatedly postponed, not because you did not deserve it, because life continued arriving. You became the place where unfinished matters collected, an appointment to remember, an expense to consider, a message to return, a change in someone's mood, a possibility that needed planning, a problem that had not yet become a problem but might. This is how a person can reach the end of a day and wonder why they feel so depleted when there is no single event to point toward. The strain was distributed. It was hidden inside many moments. A little vigilance here, a little disappointment there, a little self-control, a little worry, a little more patience than you truly had, a little less time than you needed. Each part seemed manageable. Together, they became the weight you feel now. You may have been careful all day, careful with money, careful with words, careful with timing, careful not to forget, careful not to offend, careful not to appear troubled, careful and to need too much. Carefulness can become a way of living with every inner muscle slightly tightened. It can keep you functioning. It can also leave you feeling as though you have not been fully at ease in a very long time. You were not wrong for being careful. Carefulness may have protected something important. It may have helped you survive unstable seasons. It may have helped you avoid conflict. It may have helped you become dependable when the people around you were not. The habits that wear you down may once have helped keep you safe. There is no need to shame them. There is no need to tear them away from yourself. They can be thanked for what they tried to do. They can begin to learn that this hour asks for something different. You do not have to monitor the whole night. You do not have to remain alert to every sound, every thought, every possible interruption. You can let some part of your awareness become less responsible. You have been responsible for enough. There may be a part of you that fears what will happen if you stop thinking. It may believe an important detail will vanish. It may tell you that worry is the only reason things have not gone wrong. Worry often takes credit for outcomes it did not create. It says, because I stayed awake, you were protected. It says, because I imagined the worst, you were prepared. It says, because I kept repeating the problem, you did not forget. But fear is not the only form of remembrance. Strain is not the only form of care. You can set something down and return to it. You can become quiet and remain responsible. You can stop rehearsing a problem without denying that it exists. Some things will still require attention. They do not require it from the most depleted version of you. You may trust that a clearer mind can meet them later. The part of you that kept watch can move closer to stillness. Not all at once, not perfectly, a little less tightly, a little less alone. You have carried more than practical tasks. You have also carried the emotional weather of people you love. You have wondered whether they were all right. You have thought about what they need, what they are afraid of, what they might not be telling you. You may have tried to predict their disappointment so you could prevent it. You may have changed your own plans to make their lives easier. You may have remained strong because you believed they could not handle seeing you struggle. There is tenderness in that choice. There is also a cost. When you are always the one who makes the room feel safer, you may forget that you also need a place where you do not have to manage the atmosphere. You need moments where your face can become neutral, where your voice does not have to reassure, where your silence is not interpreted as a problem, where no one asks you to turn your pain into a clear explanation. You need care that does not depend on how well you communicate your need. You need kindness that arrives before you have made a case for it. These hours can begin to offer that. You do not need to tell the darkness everything that happened. You do not need to make the story orderly. You do not need to decide who was right. You can be comforted without presenting evidence. The weight in you does not have to become a speech. It can remain unnamed and still be met with warmth. Some feelings do not want analysis. They want room. Some aches do not need a solution in the moment. They need the pressure around them to lessen. Some questions become kinder when they are no longer forced to answer immediately. You may have tried to reason your way out of every feeling today. You may have told yourself why you should not be upset. You may have explained away your own reaction before anyone else had the chance to dismiss it. You may have said that it was not a big deal. You may have reminded yourself that others have it worse. You may have called yourself too sensitive. You may have decided you were overthinking. Those judgments did not reduce the strain. They only made you carry it without companionship. You do not need to correct your feelings now. They are not misbehaving. They are not proof that something is wrong with you. They are signals from a life that has been lived closely. You felt because you cared. You reacted because something mattered. You became overwhelmed because too much arrived without enough space between it. You are not broken. You are tired. There is a difference. Broken suggests that your essential self has been damaged beyond trust. Tired means your resources have been used. It means you have given attention, made choices, adapted, endured, and responded. It means you are a living person with limits. A weary mind can make everything feel permanent. It can turn a difficult day into a prediction about your entire future. It can make one mistake seem like evidence of who you are. It can make a lonely hour feel like proof that no one will ever understand. Do not let the most depleted hour become the judge of your life. Its vision is narrow. Its voice can sound convincing because it speaks when you have little strength left to question it. You do not have to believe every conclusion that arrives late in the day. Some thoughts are not wisdom. They are exhaustion, speaking in complete sentences. The thought that you will never catch up may be exhaustion. The thought that everyone is disappointed in you may be exhaustion. The thought that you must fix everything immediately may be exhaustion. The thought that you should be handling life better may be exhaustion. These thoughts can feel real without being fully true. They do not need to be defeated. They can be treated as words spoken by a part of you that has been awake too long. You can respond inwardly with kindness. You can say, "Bien, you have worked hard." You can say, "You do not need to decide this now." You can say, "We will look again when there is more strength." There is no weakness in postponing a conclusion until you are better resourced. There is wisdom in refusing to make permanent judgments from temporary depletion. The person you are in the morning may see an opening that this hour cannot see. The concern may still exist, but it may no longer fill the whole inner room. You may remember support that weariness forgot. You may recognize choices that pressure hid. You may find that the thing you feared has not grown during the night. It was only waiting, and you will meet it with more of yourself available. For now, you are not required to be hopeful. Hope can be quiet. It does not need to produce an inspiring feeling. It may be no more than the willingness not to declare everything hopeless. It may be the decision to leave one small space open for tomorrow to be different. It may be trusting that your present view is not the only view you will ever have. That is enough. You do not have to feel wonderful before you become still. You do not have to forgive the whole day. You do not have to feel grateful for every lesson. You do not have to turn pain into beauty before closing your eyes. You can end the day without approving of it. You can admit that some parts were unfair. You can admit that someone asked too much. You can admit that you asked too much of yourself. You can admit that you wanted help and did not receive it. You can admit that you were disappointed. Honesty does not prevent peace. Sometimes honesty is what lets the inner struggle stop. You do not have to keep pretending inside your own mind. You can say, "That was hard." You can say, "I did not have enough support." You can say, "I wish it had been different." You can say, "I cannot carry it any further right now." None of these statements are failures. They are doors out of self-abandonment. You have been trying to remain kind to others. This hour asks you to include yourself in that kindness, not as an afterthought, not after everyone else has been satisfied, not when all the work is complete. Now, while some things remain unfinished, now, while you are still uncertain, now, while part of you wonders whether you have earned it, your need for recovery is not a reward for perfect performance. It is part of being alive. The body cannot give endlessly without renewal. The mind cannot sort endless demands without quiet. The heart cannot remain open without times when it is protected from further pressure. This is not selfishness. It is maintenance of what is precious. You are precious, even when no one is asking anything from you, especially then. You are more than the help you provide, more than the problems you solve, more than the calm you create, more than the work you complete, more than the people who depend upon you. Your value remains when your usefulness becomes still. You may not fully believe that yet. You do not have to force belief. A smaller willingness is enough. You can be willing to consider that your worth does not decrease when your output ends. You can be willing to consider that stopping is not the same as giving up. You can be willing to consider that being cared for is not something you must repay immediately. There is no debt being created here. You are not borrowing peace from tomorrow. You are not taking comfort away from someone else. There is enough quiet for you too. You may feel emotions becoming clearer as the pace slows. A sadness that waited behind activity may step closer. An irritation you postponed may become easier to feel. A loneliness covered by noise may become more noticeable. This does not mean becoming still caused those feelings. The quiet only made room for what was already asking to be acknowledged. You do not need to investigate every feeling. You do not need to follow it to its oldest memory. You can meet it at the level where it exists now. A heaviness, a pressure, a longing, a sense that you have been carrying yourself alone. You can place one kind sentence beside it. This feeling may be here without taking all of me. You remain larger than the sadness, larger than the worry, larger than the mistake, larger than the difficult season. There are parts of you the day did not reach. There is an inner place that did not become less worthy because someone misunderstood you. There is a dignity that remained even when you felt dismissed. There is a life within you that continues beneath fatigue. You do not have to reach that place through effort. It is already present. Your weariness is not the whole truth about you. It is the truth about what you have spent. It is evidence that something has been asked of you. It is not evidence that you are incapable. A person can be strong and depleted. A person can be wise and overwhelmed. A person can be loving and in need of distance. A person can be resilient and still require support. These are not contradictions. They are human realities. You do not need to become less capable in order to receive care. You do not need to fall apart visibly. You do not need to reach a crisis before your need becomes valid. You can respond before the body has to shout. The long sigh matters. The heavy eyes matter. The difficulty concentrating matters. The wish to withdraw matters. The feeling that small tasks have become unusually large matters. These signs do not make you weak. They are information. They are the body's way of asking for a kinder pace, and when needed, more support than you have been receiving. Quiet and sleep can support recovery, but they are not medical treatment. Ongoing exhaustion, burnout, or low mood deserves real attention too. A trusted health professional, counselor, or another qualified source of care can help when the weight continues, deepens, or interferes with daily life. You do not betray your strength by seeking that support. You do not fail at self-care because you cannot resolve everything alone. Sometimes the most loving response is to let another person help you carry what has become too much. Professional care does not erase the value of these quiet hours. These hours can still comfort you. They can still offer your system a chance to settle. They can still remind you that your suffering does not have to be hidden. And tomorrow, when there is more energy, you may take whatever next step feels wise. No step is required from you in this moment. You do not need to search for answers from bed. You do not need to make a plan while your eyes are heavy. The reminder can remain simple. You deserve support, and you do not have to wait until everything becomes unbearable. For now, let that truth stand nearby without asking anything from you. You are not alone because you have struggled. You are not defective because you need more care. You are not behind because your body cannot maintain an impossible pace. The culture around you may praise constant motion. It may reward availability. It may treat exhaustion as evidence that someone is important, committed, or good. You do not have to shame yourself for learning those messages. They were repeated everywhere. You may have been praised for needing little. You may have been called strong when what you needed was help. You may have learned that being dependable meant never showing the cost of being depended upon. You may have believed that slowing down would disappoint the people who valued you. These lessons can be questioned without blaming the person you became. You did what helped you belong. You did what helped you feel safe. You did what was expected. Now another truth can begin to stand beside those old lessons. Your limits are not flaws. Your needs are not evidence of poor character. Your body is not an obstacle to your plans. It is the living home from which every plan is carried out. When it asks for stillness, it is not working against you. It is trying to preserve you. You have already overridden many signals today. You continued after the first wave of weariness. You continued when your patience thinned. You continued when concentration became difficult. You continued because something needed doing, because someone was waiting, because stopping did not feel available. There is no judgment in this. You made the choices you could make within the day you had. Now the conditions have changed. You are no longer standing inside those demands. You are here. The slower clock remains beside you. It does not praise how long you endured. It does not ask you to endure a little longer. It offers no medal for staying tense. It gives you an hour in which nothing is gained by pushing past yourself. You can begin to trust the signal you postponed, the signal that says enough. Enough thinking for now, enough reviewing, enough trying to be prepared, enough carrying conversations that have already ended, enough imagining the work of tomorrow. Your mind may object. It may bring another concern. You can answer without hostility. Yes, that matters, and it can wait. Both can be true. Something can matter deeply and still wait until morning. You can love someone and stop thinking about their problem for the night. You can care about an outcome and release it from your immediate attention. You can be responsible without remaining mentally attached to every duty. Your concern does not keep the world turning. Your vigilance is not the price of everyone's safety. You are permitted to become unavailable to problems that are not occurring now. There may be emergencies in life, but this ordinary stream of remembered tasks is not an emergency. This replay is not an emergency. This prediction is not an emergency. This inner criticism is not an emergency. You can let urgency return to its true size. You can distinguish what is happening from what the mind is presenting. What is happening now is simpler. You are breathing. You are supported by what is beneath you. The day has ended. The room does not require a decision. Your hands do not need to perform a task. Your eyes do not need to gather more information. Your voice does not need to explain you. For these hours, existence is enough. You do not need to justify your place in the world through effort. You are here before achievement. You are here beneath every role. You are the person who has been doing all the carrying. That person deserves to be met, not only used. You may have waited a long time for someone else to recognize this. They may not have. They may have cared, but did not understand. They may have been carrying their own strain and could not see yours clearly. Their inability to see does not make your need unreal. You can see it now. You can become the witness you needed, not with analysis, with a quiet acknowledgement. I know today cost you something. I know you tried. I know you kept going. I know there were moments you wanted someone to take over. I know you did not always feel as strong as you appeared. You can let those truths reach the part of you that has been waiting to be recognized. You do not have to respond. You do not have to feel a dramatic release. Being seen inwardly may arrive as only a slight easing, a less defended breath, a jaw that no longer needs to stay as firm, a thought that loses some of its force. Small changes count here. The night is not demanding transformation. It is making room for less effort. That is enough. The day may have told you that everything depended upon you. The quiet tells a different truth. Life continues even when you stop managing it. The earth beneath your home, me, remains where it is. The people you love continue breathing through their own nights. Tomorrow remains unopened. The unfinished work does not move closer simply because you stop watching it. You can be absent from responsibility for a while. You can return later. You can trust that pausing does not erase your devotion. It protects the part of you from which devotion comes. You have not failed because you reached your limit. You have reached a natural boundary. The body has boundaries. Attention has boundaries. Patience has boundaries. Even deep love needs intervals of quiet. You are not asked to apologize for being human. You are invited to stop fighting the evidence of it. The evidence is in your heaviness, in the way your thoughts repeat, in the way you long for relief, in the way your whole inner world wants fewer demands. You can listen now. You can give yourself what was postponed. Not an answer, not a solution, a kinder pace, a little less pressure. A night that does not require you to be useful. The exhaustion came from effort, concern, adaptation, and love. It did not come from weakness. You are not broken. You have spent much of what you had available today. Now there is nothing left to prove by spending more. The body does not ask you to understand every part of its work. It continues beneath thought. Your heart keeps its rhythm without waiting for instructions. Your lungs keep receiving and releasing air. Your muscles begin responding to the fact that they are no longer being used for the work of the day. The systems within you continue their quiet tasks, whether or not you can feel them happening. This is one reason the night does not require effort. So much of what supports you is not accomplished through force. You do not have to supervise every process. You do not have to instruct your body to use this quieter time wisely. You do not have to remain awake to make sure renewal begins. Your part can become smaller. You can stop directing. You can stop checking. You can let the body do what it has practiced through every night of your life. Sleep supports the body's ordinary work of repair and regulation. It gives the mind a different kind of space from the crowded attention of the day. Memories are sorted. Emotional intensity can change. Muscles that have been continually recruited are no longer being asked to hold you upright or carry you through the next demand. None of this needs to be turned into a promise of perfection. A night of quiet does not solve every hardship. It does not remove every condition. It does not erase the need for support, treatment, conversation, change, or practical action when those things are needed. It does something humbler. It gives you a period in which fewer resources are being spent. It lets some of what has been strained stop being strained. It creates an interval between one day and the next. That interval matters. It matters even when you wake with the same responsibilities. It matters even when the problem remains. It matters even when you do not rise feeling completely renewed. Care is still worthwhile when it is not miraculous. A little more capacity matters. A little more steadiness matters. A little less pressure matters. You are not asking the night to remake your whole life. You are letting it support the life that is already here. You may have developed the habit of valuing only what produces a visible result. The completed page, the cleaned room, the resolved conflict, the number that improved, the task that can be crossed out. Quiet work is harder to measure. You cannot always see the moment when strain begins to ease. You cannot watch the mind place distance around an upsetting moment. You cannot count each small internal adjustment that occurs while you are no longer directing attention toward it. Because you cannot see it, you may assume nothing is happening. Yet much of life is sustained by what remains unseen. The body does not need applause for continuing its work. It only needs the opportunity. You are giving it that opportunity now. Not by trying harder, by requiring less from it. All day your attention moved outward, toward voices, toward screens, toward faces, toward responsibilities, toward signs of what might need a response. Now attention can become less scattered. It can return gradually, not as a task, not as another form of self-improvement, only as a quiet reduction in the number of places you must be. You do not have to be in tomorrow. You do not have to be in the conversation from earlier. You do not have to be in the imagined room where someone may judge your choice. You do not have to be in the possible future where everything goes wrong. Your body is here. It has never left this moment, even when your mind traveled far away. It has stayed beneath every thought, waiting for you to recognize the simple truth of where you are. You are not physically inside the argument anymore. You are not standing in the difficult hour. You are not making the decision now. You are not answering anyone now. The body can begin responding to the difference between then and here. It may need time. It may have spent many hours preparing for what came next. It may have tightened before you noticed. It may have remained ready long after the need had passed. There is no fault in this. The body learned from repetition. If many days required constant readiness, it became skilled at remaining prepared. If quiet was often interrupted, it learned not to trust quiet immediately. If you were needed without warning, it learned to stay close to wakefulness. If you lived through uncertainty, it learned to listen carefully. These responses were attempts to help you. They are not enemies. You do not need to fight them. You can give them new information. The room is quiet enough. There is no immediate demand. The next task is not occurring now. The muscles can reduce their effort. The breath does not have to remain high. The eyes do not need to search. The hands do not need to reach. The body may accept this information slowly. Slowly is still acceptance. A gradual easing is still meaningful. You are not in a contest with wakefulness. You are not losing because some tension remains. The night has more patience than the mind often gives itself. It does not expect immediate surrender. It receives each small reduction. The brow that becomes slightly less gathered. The tongue that no longer presses as firmly. The fingers that uncurl without being instructed. The stomach that is permitted to exist without being drawn inward. The legs that no longer prepare to stand. These are quiet forms of trust. You may not feel all of them. You do not need to. The body can change without turning each change into a message. It can become heavier while your mind is elsewhere. It can settle before you recognize that settling has begun. It can move towards sleep without your conscious approval. Your work is not to create the perfect internal condition. Your work has ended. You have spent enough of the day trying to make things happen. Here, something can happen without being made. This may feel unfamiliar. You may be accustomed to effort preceding every result. You may believe that if you do not push, nothing moves. That belief may have been reinforced by years of responsibility. You pushed because no one else would. You remembered because forgetting had consequences. You stayed engaged because stepping back did not always feel safe. There is wisdom in understanding why you became this way. There is also wisdom in recognizing where that strategy is no longer needed. This hour does not improve through more pressure. The body does not become calm because it is criticized for being tense. The mind does not become quiet because it is ordered to stop thinking. The heart does not become steady because you are ashamed of what affected it. Repair begins more readily where there is kindness. Kindness reduces the extra burden of fighting your own experience. It says, of course, this took time. It says, of course, you are still carrying some of it. It says, you may come down gradually. It says, nothing is wrong because you have not become peaceful yet. The kindness is not a technique. It is a way of no longer turning against yourself. For many people, the day is hard enough. The inner criticism added afterward becomes a second difficulty. You endure the moment, then judge how you endured it. You make the decision, then question whether a better person would have chosen differently. You become exhausted, then accuse yourself of lacking discipline. You need comfort, then tell yourself you should be stronger. This double burden can end here. The day was what it was. Your response was the response available to you with the knowledge, energy, history, and support you had. There may be things to learn later. Learning does not require punishment. Growth does not need humiliation. Responsibility does not mean withholding tenderness. You can look honestly at your life without using honesty as a weapon. For now, even that looking can stop. Nothing needs to be evaluated from this hour. Let the body receive a message it may not have heard clearly today. You are not being assessed. You are not being watched for mistakes. You are not about to be asked to prove your value. No one needs your immediate answer. There is time before the next response. There is space before the next choice. The slower clock remains around you. It does not move according to productivity. It does not become more worthy when filled. It is permitted to pass empty of achievement. You are permitted to pass through it empty-handed. The body may understand this before the mind does. It may begin releasing the day while your thoughts continue describing it. Let that be enough. You do not have to bring every part of yourself into agreement. You can be mentally active and physically supported. You can feel uncertain and remain safe in this moment. You can have unresolved feelings and still move towards sleep. You can miss someone and continue breathing. You can be angry and remain deserving of care. You can be afraid and still receive comfort. The night does not ask you to become emotionally simple. It can contain complexity without needing to fix it. This is part of what quiet offers. It does not demand that every emotion stand in a neat line. It gives them less pressure to perform. A feeling that is not interrogated may begin to change shape on its own. A thought that is not chased may lose its urgency. A memory that is not forced away may become less sharp. The mind can file parts of the day without your conscious help. You may wake with a different relationship to what happened, even if the facts remain the same. This is not guaranteed. It is only possible. Possibility is enough for the night. You do not need certainty in order to stop. You do not need proof that tomorrow will be easier. You do not need a promise that every concern will resolve. You need only the understanding that remaining tense all night cannot give you complete control over what comes next. Staying awake is not the same as staying prepared. Worrying is not the same as solving. Rehearsing is not the same as protecting. There comes a point when vigilance no longer serves the thing it claims to serve. It only continues because it has forgotten how to end. You can help it remember, not with force, with conditions, less noise, less demand, less movement. How your questions. A body supported, a room where nothing is required, time that no longer rushes. The conditions are beginning to change. There is another sound that can belong to such a night. A steady sound close by, rain meeting canvas, not rain you must escape, not weather you must cross, only the low, changing drum of water landing above and around you while you remain inside. The canvas is thin enough for every drop to be heard. The weather is only inches away. You can hear its movement across the surface, a quick scattering, a heavier run, a brief hush. Then another line of drops arriving from the dark. You are close enough to know the night is wet. close enough to hear how fully the rain is falling, yet you are dry. The sound does not mean danger has entered. It means the shelter is working. There is something deeply calming about hearing what cannot reach you. The rain makes contact with the outside of the tent, and that contact becomes sound. The canvas receives each drop. The water travels over what is protecting you. It finds its way down and away. You do not have to push it back. You do not have to keep the fabric dry with your own hands. You do not have to count every drop or search for where the next one will land. The shelter does its work around you. You remain within, warm enough, dry enough, close to the weather but not claimed by it. The day was like weather against the outside of you. It made sound. It changed pace. At times it came lightly. At times it arrived all at once. There were moments when you could barely hear your own thoughts beneath what kept landing. Requests, expectations, news, questions, other people's feelings, your own worries returning. Each one struck close. Each one announced itself. Some demanded response. Some only frightened you with their nearness. You may have begun to believe that because you could hear everything, everything had entered you. But hearing is not the same as being overcome. Feeling pressure is not the same as being destroyed by it. The rain can be inches away, and still there can be a boundary. A living, ordinary boundary. Something between you and what falls. You have such boundaries, even when they have been strained. You are not completely exposed. You are not required to let every demand pass through. You can hear a need without answering it immediately. You can know a problem exists without letting it occupy every part of you. You can sense someone's disappointment without making it your identity. You can remember the day without bringing all of it inside this hour. The canvas does not argue with the rain. It does not become hard enough to stop being fabric. It does not chase the clouds away. It remains where it is. It receives what lands against the outside. It lets the water move onward. There is strength in that kind of shelter, the strength of defeating the weather, the strength of keeping a boundary through it. You do not have to defeat the day before you can sleep. You do not have to prove that none of it affected you. You do not have to become harder. You can be sensitive enough to hear the rain and protected enough to stay dry. Sensitivity and safety can exist together. You may have believed you needed to feel less in order to suffer less. You may have wished for a thicker wall around the heart. You may have blamed your tenderness for the way words remain with you. But tenderness is not the absence of shelter. You can feel deeply and still learn what belongs outside. You can hear another person's pain without taking it into your body as a permanent duty. You can care without becoming responsible for every outcome. You can remain loving without leaving yourself uncovered. The tent is not far from the weather. It does not pretend the rain is somewhere else. It acknowledges every drop through sound. This is honest protection. It does not deny what is happening. It changes your relationship to it. You are not standing in the rain. You are listening from within. The difficult moment happened. You do not need to deny it. The words were spoken. You do not need to pretend they were not. The uncertainty is real. You do not need to call it harmless. You can recognize all of this from inside a boundary. You can say, that was close. You can say, that affected me. You can also say, it does not have unlimited access to me now. The rain may continue. The shelter can continue too. You do not need the entire world to become quiet before you are permitted to become still. The outer conditions may remain imperfect. There may be unfinished matters. Someone may still misunderstand. A decision may still be pending. The future may still contain weather you cannot predict. You can be dry inside before the rain has ended. You can receive warmth before every external problem is solved. You can stop scanning the dark for signs that the clouds are leaving. The sound itself can become reassuring. Each drop says the boundary is being met from the outside. Each small drum beat reminds you where you are, not out there, in here, not exposed to every element, sheltered for these hours. The canvas is close above you. The space is simple. Nothing inside needs to impress anyone. There is no room for performance, only enough room to lie down, enough room to breathe, enough room to let the storm remain beyond the thin, faithful surface that separates you from it. You do not need a grand protection. You need a real one, a present one. This room, this bed, this hour without duty, this decision not to reopen the day. The protection may feel thin because you can still hear everything. You may still hear your own thoughts. You may still remember the tone of someone's voice. You may still sense tomorrow nearby. Do not confuse nearness with invasion. A thought can be near without taking you over. A concern can remain audible without entering every part of your body. The rain can sound loud precisely because it is striking the shelter instead of you. What you hear may be evidence that something stands between you and what is outside. You are not required to be numb. You are not required to forget. You are learning the comfort of remaining inside yourself while the weather passes close by. The day can drum against the edge of memory. You do not have to go out and meet it. Let it make whatever sound remains. Let the mind replay a few pieces. Let the rain move over the canvas. You stay where it is warm. You stay where no answer is needed. You stay where the body's quiet work can continue without your supervision. There is a strange safety in hearing what cannot reach you. The sound confirms both truths. The weather is real. The shelter is real too. The rain does not ask you to come outside and manage it. It falls where it falls. It gathers above you for a moment, then runs down the sloping canvas. Some drops arrive with a clear, separate sound. Others merge into a low rush that passes from one side to the other. The surface receives them all without asking you to become involved. You do not need to reach upward. You do not need to test every seam. You do not need to predict whether the next minute will bring a lighter pattern or a heavier one. The shelter is already between you and the weather. You can hear the proof of that shelter in every drop that does not touch your skin. The sound may be close. The protection is closer. You are inside it. There may be parts of the day that still feel near enough to touch. A sentence may return with its original tone. A face may appear in the mind as clearly as it did hours ago. A responsibility may feel as though it is waiting just beyond the thin wall of this moment. Let it remain beyond the wall. You do not have to deny that it is there. You only have to stop stepping out to meet it. The mind may be accustomed to leaving shelter whenever it hears something outside. It may rush toward every sound and ask what must be done. It may treat every remembered problem as a call that requires an immediate answer. That habit was formed through care. You listened because listening mattered. You responded because response was often necessary. You learned to move quickly when something changed. You learned that delay could create more work. You learned to anticipate needs before they were spoken. These skills helped you through many days. They do not need to disappear. They can become quiet for a while. A skill does not lose its value because it is not being used through the night. Your awareness can lie beside you without standing board. Your care can remain part of you without being active in every direction. Your ability to respond will still be there when morning comes. You are not losing anything by letting it become still. Outside the canvas, the rain continues to make contact with the world. It touches leaves, soil, ropes, and the ground beneath the tent. It follows gravity without asking whether the path is convenient. It does not remain where it first lands. It moves. This is what the day can do now. It can move onward. The hours you lived have already begun traveling away from you. They are no longer waiting to be changed. They are no longer asking you to enter them again. You may revisit them in thought, but thought does not reopen the hour itself. The moment has moved. The words have moved. The look on someone's face has moved. The version of you who stood inside that part of the day has moved too. You are here now. You are no longer standing where the rain first began. The weather of the day may leave traces, a wetness in the soil, a change in the air, a memory of how loud it became. A trace is not the same as an event continuing forever. A feeling can remain after its cause has passed. A body can stay tense after a room has emptied. A mind can keep listening after the voice has stopped. This does not mean you are trapped in what happened. It means your system needs time to recognize that the conditions have changed. Time is being given. No one is hurrying this recognition. You may hear the same thought several times before it weakens. You may feel the same concern return before it understands that it has no work to do here. You may need many quiet minutes before the inner pace begins to match the slower clock around you. There is no failure in repetition that arises naturally. The failure would be turning that repetition into another reason to be unkind to yourself. You can hear the thought and answer less each time. You can feel the concern and give it less of your body. You can remember without re-entering. You can know without carrying. The rain is known from inside the tent, but it is not worn like clothing. You can know the day without continuing to wear it. You can know that something remains unfinished without carrying it in your jaw. You can know that someone is upset without storing their feeling in your chest. You can know that tomorrow contains work without placing that work in your hands now. Knowledge does not require tension. Care does not require suffering in advance. Love does not require endless inner labor. You are permitted to be a person who cares and still becomes unavailable for a few hours. The canvas does not become less protective because it is quiet. It does not need to announce what it is doing. It stays where it is. It lets the weather spend itself against the outside. The most loving boundary may not be dramatic. It does not require a speech. It does not punish anyone. It does not turn the heart cold. It is the quiet understanding that not everything can enter at every hour. There is a time for conversation. There is a time for action. There is a time for planning. There is also a time when the entrance closes. No emergency is occurring in this moment. No one is standing before you asking for an answer. No task is physically in your hands. The remembered demand is only a sound against the outside. You can remain within. You can let the rain speak without translating every drop. You can let one sound follow another without deciding what it means. The mind often searches for meaning because meaning can create a sense of control. If you understand why someone acted as they did, you may be able to prevent the hurt from returning. If you analyze your mistake completely, perhaps you can guarantee that you will never repeat it. If you predict every outcome, perhaps none will surprise you. These hopes are understandable. They also ask too much from one weary mind. Understanding cannot always prevent pain. Analysis cannot remove all uncertainty. Preparation cannot make life entirely predictable. The attempt to achieve complete safety through thought can become its own form of exposure. It keeps you outside in the weather, searching the dark for a guarantee that does not exist. There is another kind of safety, not certainty, shelter. A place where you can be uncertain without being consumed. A boundary that does not require the world to become harmless. A warm interior where you can hear life continuing without answering all of it. This is enough for now. You do not need to know exactly what tomorrow will bring. You do not need to know how the conversation will end. You do not need to know whether the plan will work. You do not need to know how long the difficult season will last. You need only this smaller truth. You are not standing in tomorrow. You are inside this night. The rain that belongs to another hour cannot soak you here unless you leave the shelter to meet it. Remain where you are. Let the future stay outside the canvas. It will arrive in its own time. When it does, you will meet it from the body and mind available then, not from the depleted part of you lying here now. You cannot borrow tomorrow's clarity by worrying tonight. You cannot borrow tomorrow's strength by spending what remains of today. The kindest preparation may be to stop preparing. The wisest action may be to become still. The most responsible choice may be to let your inner resources gather without interference. This is not withdrawal from life. It is a return to the place from which life can be met. You are not escaping forever. You are sheltering for the night. There is a great difference. Escape says you can never face what is outside. Shelter says you do not have to face it every minute. Escape comes from believing you have no capacity. Shelter respects the facts, and that capacity must be renewed. You have faced enough for one day. You have listened to enough. You have responded to enough. You have interpreted enough. You have stood in enough weather. The canvas is above you now. The dry ground is beneath you. The sound of rain marks the boundary. Outside, inside, near, not touching, heard, not carried. You may let these differences become clear. A concern may be near without being inside you. A memory may be heard without becoming present again. A responsibility may exist without being active. A person may need something without receiving it from you at this hour. The boundary is not cruelty. It is a form of care that includes the one who has been giving care. You may have been taught that a good person remains reachable, that a loving person never closes the door, that a dependable person answers even when depleted. But constant reachability is not the same as love. It can become a disappearance of the self. Love needs a living person through whom to move. Dependability needs a body that has not been used beyond its ability to recover. Kindness needs somewhere to return after it has been offered. You are that place. You are not only the source from which care is drawn, you are also the person to whom care must return. For these hours, let it return. Let the attention that spread across many people come back inward. Let the patience you offered others become patience with your own pace. Let the understanding you gave their mistakes become understanding for yours. Let the kindness you placed around their difficult emotions become a quiet covering around your own. You do not have to produce this kindness perfectly. A small movement toward it is enough. The inner voice may still criticize. It may say that you should have done more. It may say that lying here is unproductive. It may remind you of someone who seems able to carry more. You can hear that voice as rain on the canvas. Close, familiar, not the final authority. It may drum loudly because it has been repeated for years. Loudness does not make it true. Familiarity does not make it wise. The voice may have developed in a time when approval depended on performance. It may have learned that mistakes brought consequences. It may believe it protects you by keeping you under pressure. You do not have to hate it. You can place it outside the shelter for the night. You can say, I hear you. You can say, you may stop working now. You can say, pressure is not needed here. The voice may continue for a while. The rain often continues after you have recognized that you are dry. Safety does not require immediate silence. It requires a boundary strong enough to remain while sound continues. You can have that boundary. You can be safe enough in this moment even while the mind is noisy. You can be warm enough even while an old fear moves nearby. You can be supported enough even while part of you doubts it. There is room in this shelter for doubt. Doubt does not tear the canvas. Resistance does not remove the ground beneath you. You do not have to believe every comforting word fully. You do not have to surrender with complete trust. Some nights, the heart has been disappointed too often to open quickly. Some nights, the body remains cautious even when the room is safe. Some nights, reassurance reaches only the outer edge of you. That is all right. You can begin at the outer edge. You can let one sentence rest there without forcing it deeper. The day passes. I remain warm within. Do not make it a command. Do not ask yourself to feel anything dramatic. Let it be as ordinary as the canvas above you. The day passes. I remain warm within. You do not need to push the day away. Passing is already what days do. You do not need to create the warmth. You only need to recognize the place where some warmth still exists. The day passes. I remain warm within. If the full sentence feels too far away, use something smaller. I am willing to stay inside. That is enough. You do not need perfect trust. Willingness is a small opening through which care can enter. You may be willing to stop reviewing one part of the day. You may be willing to leave one question unanswered. You may be willing to let one person's mood remain theirs. You may be willing to release one imagined outcome. You may be willing to believe that the shelter can stand without your supervision. A little willingness is not small in a body accustomed to vigilance. It is a new direction. You have spent many hours moving outward. Now you turn inward by a degree, not away from life, toward the one who must live it. You, the one beneath the roles, the one beneath the practiced answers, the one who does not need to be impressive here. You are close enough to the rain to hear its changing rhythm. A lighter pattern moves across the canvas, then gathers again. Water finds the same surface and leaves in a different path each time. No drop remains forever. No sound holds its place. The weather changes even when the sky appears unchanged. Your inner weather can change too. Not because you demand it, because no feeling remains exactly the same through every moment. The worry rises, settles, returns, and shifts. The sadness tightens, loosens, becomes memory, then moves nearer again. The irritation burns, then becomes fatigue. The loneliness speaks, then becomes a quiet longing for care. You do not need to control these movements. You can let them travel over the surface of awareness. They may sound close. They do not define the entire shelter. Inside, there is also warmth. Inside, there is breath. Inside, there is the possibility of not respond. In our inside, there is room for a body to become heavier. Inside, there is no need to be understood by anyone else before you receive comfort. You can stop explaining yourself, even inwardly. You do not have to justify why the day affected you. You do not have to prove why a certain remark stayed with you. You do not have to create a logical case for your exhaustion. The body has already given its evidence. The mind has already reached its limit. The longing for quiet is enough. You are not asking for too much by wanting the world to stop entering for a while. The tent is not guilty for keeping the rain outside. It is fulfilling its purpose. Your boundary may fulfill a purpose too. It may preserve your ability to be present tomorrow. It may prevent resentment from growing where love has been overextended. It may help you recognize which responsibilities truly belong to you. It may remind you that availability is a choice, not an identity. You can become unreachable to the day now. No explanation is required. The messages can wait. The tasks can wait. The versions of conversations you are composing can wait. The imaginary arguments can wait. The apology you may give can wait. The decision you may make can wait. Even the hope of being understood can wait. Nothing meaningful is lost by letting the night remain the night. If you are listening with eyes that are growing heavy, there is no need to stay awake for the rest of these words. Let sleep take you whenever it comes. Do not make a task of reaching the end. There is also no need to leave a comment now. Let the night come first. Tomorrow, if these words helped you feel even slightly more sheltered, you may return and leave one quiet word about how the morning found you. Not now. Now you remain inside. The rain continues without requiring your witness. The canvas continues without requiring your praise. The hours continue without requiring your attention. You are free to miss some of them. You are free to let whole stretches pass without knowing what happened. You do not need to be present for every minute of the night. You can disappear into sleep without abandoning yourself. You are not leaving yourself behind. You are entering the deepest form of staying. Staying with the body. Staying within the boundary. Staying where warmth can gather. Staying away from the weather that has no right to follow you here. You have spent enough time outside yourself today. You entered other people's needs. You entered their expectations. You entered future possibilities. You entered old memories. You entered the pressure to become more than one person can reasonably be. Come back within. The shelter does not ask why you took so long. It does not say you should have arrived earlier. It does not count the number of times you left yourself to care for someone else. It receives you at the moment you return. You may return slowly. A little of your attention at first, a little of your breath, a little of your trust. No part must be dragged. No part must be shamed for remaining outside. The mind may still be standing near a problem. The heart may still be listening for someone. The body may still expect interruption. Let each part hear the rain. Let each part recognize the canvas. Let each part learn the difference between closeness and contact. The problem is close in thought. It is not touching you now. The person is close in feeling. They are not asking you now. Tomorrow is close in time. It has not entered now. The shelter remains. You remain within it. There is enough room for every part of you to arrive at its own pace. Nothing is being shut out from your humanity, only from your immediate responsibility. You can care tomorrow. You can answer tomorrow. You can decide tomorrow. For now, the water runs down the outside. It does not belong in your hands. It does not belong in your chest. It does not belong beneath your eyelids. Let it pass over the canvas. Let the sound become more distant, even if the rain itself continues. Let your awareness move away from counting drops Let the mind lose interest in the pattern. Let the shelter become something you no longer need to inspect. It is here. That is enough. The day passes. You remain warm within. Your body has waited patiently for this part. It has carried you through every room, every task, every conversation, every moment when you had to appear more certain than you felt. It has contained your thoughts while they raced. It has absorbed the effort of standing, reaching, driving, typing, listening, deciding, remembering, and responding. Now each part can be thanked, not corrected, not judged, thanked. Begin with the top of your head. The skin there has felt every change in temperature, every pull of concentration, every hour of alertness. It does not need to remain lifted toward the next sound. Thank the top of your head. Let it release on the exhale. The forehead has worked hard too. It gathered when you tried to understand. It tightened when something did not make sense. It lifted when you needed to appear interested, calm, or ready. It carried questions long after the questions stopped being useful. Thank your forehead for trying to solve what could not be solved in one day. Let it release on the exhale. The space between your eyebrows does not need to hold the whole day in one narrow place. It can widen. It can become unoccupied. No answer needs to be found there. Thank that small space. Let it release on the exhale. Your eyelids have stayed open through enough. They have followed words across screens. They have watched faces for signs. They have searched rooms for what needed attention. They have looked ahead while the rest of you wanted to become still. Thank your eyelids for everything they gathered. Let them release on the exhale. The tiny muscles around your eyes have been concentrating even when you did not realize it. They have narrowed against bright light. They have kept back tears. They have helped you look composed. They do not need to protect your expression now. No one is reading your face. No one is waiting for the right response. Thank the muscles around your eyes. Let them release on the exhale. Your cheeks have carried smiles, concern, restraint, and the effort of remaining approachable. They may have stayed lifted for other people. They may have become firm when you needed control. Now they can be without expression. Thank your cheeks. Let them release on the exhale. Your ears have received enough words. Some were kind, some were necessary, some were difficult. Some remained inside you because they were spoken at the wrong moment or in the wrong tone. Your ears do not need to keep listening for what might be said next. The rain against the canvas is enough. Thank your ears for staying open. Let them release on the exhale. Your jaw has been one of the strongest keepers of the day. It tightened when you stopped yourself from speaking too quickly. It stayed steady when emotion rose. It remained firm when you needed to finish what was in front of you. It may still be carrying words that were never spoken. Those words can remain unspoken for now. Nothing needs to be forced through. Thank your jaw for its restraint. Let it release on the exhale. The tongue can become still within the mouth. It does not need to prepare an explanation. It does not need to practice tomorrow's conversation. It does not need to defend you. Thank your tongue for every word it shaped. Let it release on the exhale. Your lips have said yes when you meant maybe. They have said you were fine when the truth was more complicated. They have offered reassurance while you needed reassurance yourself. They have spoken with care even when energy was low. Thank your lips for the kindness they gave. Let them release on the exhale. Your throat has carried swallowed feelings. It has tightened around what was difficult to say. It has helped you keep your voice level. It has carried the ache of wanting to be understood. No speech is required here. No perfect sentence is waiting. Thank your throat for carrying so much quietly. Let it release on the exhale. The back of your neck has kept your head raised through the day. It has held concentration. It has carried the strain of leaning toward work, toward people, toward problems that kept asking for more attention. It does not need to keep looking for reward. Thank the back of your neck. Let it release on the exhale. The sides of your neck can stop listening for urgency. They can stop preparing to turn toward the next request. There is nothing you must face in this moment. Thank the sides of your neck. Let them release on the exhale. Your shoulders have been asked to carry what never belonged in muscles. Responsibility settled there. Expectation settled there. The wish not to disappoint anyone settled there. Old habits of readiness settled there. Your shoulders were never meant to become shelves for every concern. They can lower without dropping anything important. Thank your shoulders for all they bore. Let them release on the exhale. The upper arms have reached outward many times. They have lifted, carried, passed, held, moved, steadied, and helped. They may have offered comfort. They may have completed work no one praised. They may have remained active long after they wanted to fall beside you. Thank your upper arms. Let them release on the exhale. Your elbows do not need to remain prepared to move. They can lose their angle. They can become unimportant. Thank your elbows. Let them release on the exhale. Your forearms have supported countless small actions. They have held devices, bags, cups, tools, papers, and the ordinary objects that filled your hours. They can become heavy now. Thank your forearms. Let them release on the exhale. Your wrists have made thousands of adjustments, small movements, quick movements, careful movements. They have kept going without asking to be noticed. Thank your wrists. Let them release on the exhale. Your hands have done enough. They have held what needed holding. They have cleaned. They have prepared. They have written. They have opened and closed doors. They have reached for other people. They have carried the visible part of your care. Now they hold nothing. The weather remains outside. The unfinished work remains outside. Thank your hands. Let them release on the exhale. Each finger can stop remembering its tasks. The thumb no longer needs to scroll. The index finger no longer needs to point, press, or choose. The middle finger does not need to brace. The ring finger can become quiet. The smallest finger can stop helping the hand remain ready. Thank every finger. Let them release on the exhale. Your chest has carried more than breath. It has held concern. It has held anticipation. It has held the sudden pressure of hearing something difficult. It has held relief that did not last long enough. It has held love that asked for courage. Your chest does not have to stay lifted against the day. Thank your chest for protecting what matters. Let it rise, release on the exhale. Your ribs have moved with every breath, even the shallow ones. They kept making room when the day felt crowded. They kept opening when you forgot to pay attention. Thank your ribs for their quiet persistence. Let them release on the exhale. Your upper back has supported the part of you that leaned toward responsibility. It has helped you remain upright when you wanted to curl inward. It has carried strain without complaint. Thank your upper back. Let it release on the exhale. The space between your shoulder blades can stop gripping. It does not need to brace against another demand. It does not need to prepare for impact. The canvas is receiving the rain. You are dry within. Thank that space. Let it release on the exhale. The middle of your back has supported every turn and every reach. It has adapted to chairs, car seats, desks, and long hours of being needed. Thank the middle of your back. Let it release on the exhale. Your lower back has carried the weight of standing and the strain of continuing. It may have tightened when you felt unsupported. It may have worked harder when the rest of you became weary. It can receive support now. Thank your lower back. Let it release on the exhale. Your heart has worked without asking whether the day was easy. It continued through joy, irritation, uncertainty, and disappointment. It kept its movement beneath every emotion. You do not need to make your heart feel differently. You do not need to persuade it to forget. Thank your heart for staying with you. Let the space around it release on the exhale. Your stomach has received the signals of the day. It has tightened around uncertainty. It has reacted to hurry. It has waited when you postponed hunger. It has worked while your mind was elsewhere. You do not need to pull it inward. You do not need to make the body smaller. Thank your stomach. Let it release on the exhale. The center of your body has helped you turn, bend, reach, rise, and stay balanced. It does not need to remain firm for anyone's approval. Thank your center. Let it release on the exhale. Your sides can widen into the support beneath you. They do not have to be held. They do not have to look a certain way. Thank your sides. Let them release on the exhale. Your hips have carried the movement of the whole body. They have supported walking, standing, sitting, and changing direction. They have held you steady when the day shifted unexpectedly. Thank your hips. Let them release on the exhale. The muscles around your pelvis can stop preparing to move. They can become private and unobserved. They can trust what is beneath them. Hank these deep muscles. Let them release on the exhale. Your thighs have carried you farther than you may remember. Across rooms, up steps, through errands, toward duties, away from moments that had ended. They have stood when sitting would have felt kinder. Thank your thighs. Let them release on the exhale. The backs of your legs have worked quietly to keep you balanced. They have supported each step without receiving your attention. They do not need to remain ready to rise. Thank the backs of your legs. Let them release on the exhale. Your knees have bent for you again and again. They have lowered and lifted your weight. They have helped you move through a world that rarely stops. They can become unneeded for these hours. Thank your knees. Let them release on the exhale. Your calves have carried the tension of moving quickly. They have tightened through standing and waiting. They have helped you keep pace with the day. There is no pace to keep now. Thank your calves. Let them release on the exhale. Your ankles have made countless small corrections to keep you steady. They adapted to every surface. They carried you over ground without asking whether you felt confident. Thank your ankles. Let them release on the exhale. Your heels have met the ground thousands of times. They have received your weight. They have taken the first contact of each step. They do not need to meet another surface now. Thank your heels. Let them release on the exhale. The arches of your feet have supported every movement. They have carried you through ordinary distances that became part of an extraordinary effort. Thank the arches of your feet. Let them release on the exhale. The tops of your feet can become loose. They do not need to prepare for shoes. They do not need to point toward the next place. Thank the tops of your feet. Let them release on the exhale. Each toe can stop gripping. The largest toe can become still. The smaller toes can stop helping you balance. The whole foot can trust that no step is required. Thank every toe. Let them release on the exhale. Your whole body has been thanked now, not because it performed perfectly, because it stayed. It stayed through every mood. It stayed through every mistake. It stayed when you ignored its first request to slow down. It stayed when you pushed beyond your preferred pace. It stayed when you felt disconnected from it. It stayed when you were kind to it and when you were not. It did not abandon you. You do not need to apologize to it with a speech. You can answer its loyalty by placing fewer demands upon it now. The rain is still beyond the canvas. You can hear the pattern without tracking it. T. Some drops land hard, some barely sound. Some join together and travel downward. Your body does not need to respond to each one. The sound can move around you. The shelter can remain firm. Warmth can stay inside. The day may still send small echoes. A name, a task, a sentence, a concern. Each echo can meet the outside of the shelter. You do not need to take it in. The body is becoming less available to the past. It is becoming less available to tomorrow. It is becoming available only to this bed, this room, this darkness, this breath. You are not required to watch the change. You can lose your place in these words. You can miss a sentence. You can drift. You can return. You can drift farther. Nothing needs to be followed. Nothing needs to be remembered. Let the next lines fall one by one. Let them become lighter. Let them shorten. Let them pass like rain you hear from within. I am inside. I am protected. I am warm enough. I am dry within. I have done enough. I release the hours. I release the noise. I release the pressure. I release old words. I release tomorrow. I leave work outside. I leave worry outside. I leave answers outside. I leave urgency outside. I do not stand guard. I do not keep watch. I do not chase time. I do not carry weather. I can remain here. I can become heavy. I can be quiet. I can receive care. I can need less. I can stop preparing. I can stop explaining. I can stop reviewing. I can stop reaching. I can stop now. I trust the shelter. I trust this hour. I trust my body. I trust the dark. I am not exposed. I am not behind. I am not failing. I am not required. I am not alone. I am within. I let thoughts pass. I let sounds pass. I let feelings pass. I let minutes pass. I let the day pass. I stay dry. I stay warm. I stay inside. I am sheltered. I am quiet. I am safe enough. I am here. I am supported. I am carried. I am easing. I am drifting. I am quiet now. I am warm. I am dry. I am within. I let go. I lie down. I am sheltered. Still inside. Warm within. Nothing needed. No more work. No more answers. Only shelter. Only warmth. Only rain. Dry within. Safe enough. Here now. Within. Quiet. The rain can continue. You no longer need to hear every drop. The tent can remain around you without your attention. The warmth does not disappear when you stop checking for it. You do not have to stay awake to keep yourself protected. The body knows how to become still. The eyes know how to close more deeply. The mind knows how to lose the edge of a thought. The night knows how to carry minutes you do not witness. Let the words become fewer. Let the space between them widen. The weather stays outside. You stay within. Nothing more is asked. Nothing more is owed. The whole body is supported. The whole day is beyond the canvas. The rain is close. It cannot reach you. You are dry inside. The last part of the day does not need to be carried any farther. It can remain outside with the rain. Everything you could not finish can stay beyond the canvas. Every answer that did not come can stay there. Every expression you are still trying to understand can stay there. The night does not need to bring these things inside in order to prove that they mattered. They mattered. They can also remain outside. You are not erasing the day. You are ending your contact with it for now. The difference is kind. Erasing would ask you to deny what happened. Ending contact only asks you to stop touching it. The conversation exists. You do not have to enter it again. The responsibility exists. You do not have to lift it again. The uncertainty exists. You do not have to stand beneath it. The rain exists. You remain dry. There may be a part of you that believes letting go must feel dramatic. It may expect a clear inner shift, a sudden peace, or a moment when every concern falls silent at once. This night does not ask for that. Letting go may be much quieter. It may be the decision not to finish a thought. It may be the moment you stop imagining what someone will say next. It may be the choice not to check whether your body has relaxed enough. It may be a worry returning and receiving no new energy from you. The day can leave in pieces, one demand fur, one Saint one face later. One question after that. You do not need to remove everything from the shelter in a single movement. You are not clearing a room. You are no longer inviting more inside. The difference matters. Whatever has already entered your awareness can find its own way toward the edge. Whatever waits outside can remain there. You do not need to sort the contents of your mind before becoming still. You do not need to name each burden. You do not need to decide which concern deserves release first. The mind may have become crowded without your consent. It can become quieter without your management. Let the crowdedness be imperfect. Let one thought lie beside another without being organized. Let an unfinished plan remain beside an unanswered question. Let the whole collection lose importance together. Nothing needs to be filed before morning. Nothing needs to be placed in the correct order. The rain is not arranged before it falls. It arrives as it arrives. The canvas receives it without asking which drop came first. Your awareness can become that undemanding, a sound, a thought, a breath, a memory, then space, then another sound. None of it needs to form a lesson. The canvas receives what comes from above. The sound moves over it and away. You do not have to follow the path of the water. You do not have to wonder where each drop finishes. The shelter keeps doing what shelter does after your attention has gone elsewhere. Your body can do the same. It can continue into quiet without being watched. It can become heavier without asking permission. It can move beyond the last clear thought. It can forget the order of these words. It can cross into deeper darkness without carrying a map. You do not need to know the exact moment when wakefulness loosens. There is no doorway you must find, no final task, no perfect sentence. The slower clock has no last requirement hidden within it. It has brought you here. It can keep moving without you. You may let the next minutes disappear. You may let them belong to the part of the night you never remember. You may let the rain continue its conversation with the canvas while you no longer listen closely. Nothing important will be lost. The weather does not need your witness. The shelter does not need your supervision. Tomorrow does not need your preparation. The body does not need another instruction. There is only this warm interior and the freedom to remain within it. You have not failed because the day was heavy. You have not failed because some of it followed you into bed. You have not failed because quiet took time. You have not failed because reassurance did not reach every part of you at once. There are cautious places within you. They learned slowly. They will soften slowly too. You do not need to pull them forward. You do not need to ask them to trust more than they can. They may listen from a distance. Hay may hear only the rain. That is enough. The sound can teach what words cannot. Close does not mean touching. Loud does not mean dangerous. Unfinished does not mean urgent. Uncertain does not mean impossible. Alone in this hour does not mean abandoned. The rain is close. You are still inside. A thought may rise. It can strike the outside and move on. A memory may return. It can strike the outside and move on. A fear may ask for attention. It can strike the outside and move on. You do not need to open the shelter for every sound. You do not need to go out and inspect the dark. The hour is not improved by vigilance. Somewhere in you, there may still be a worker who does not know the day has ended. That worker may be checking the ropes, listening for changes, remembering what needs to be secured. It may believe safety depends on constant attention. Do not dismiss this part. It has spent years trying to be useful. It may have learned that problems arrive when people become careless. It may have learned that readiness prevents disappointment. It may have watched others fail to notice what needed care and decided never to make the same mistake. It became dependable. It also became weary. You do not need to fire this inner worker. You can end its hours. No inspection is required now. No repair is being requested. No one is asking for a report. The canvas is above you. The ground is beneath you. The weather is outside. The worker can lie down too. It may keep one ear open at first. It may listen for a change in the pattern. Let it listen without rising. Let it discover that sound can continue without becoming a duty. Let it learn that nothing collapses when attention becomes less exact. This lesson may not complete itself tonight. It does not have to. One experience of remaining inside is enough to begin. 1 hour in which worry is not promoted into action. 1 stretch of darkness in which a remembered task receives no response. 1 period when the weather exists and you do not manage it. These small experiences build another kind of trust. Not trust that nothing difficult will happen. Trust that you do not have to be ready every second. Trust that your body can leave duty and return later. Trust that care remains real while you are unavailable. Trust that a night can pass without being monitored. The mind may still reach toward what it knows. Let it grow tired of reaching. Do not pull it back sharply. Do not scold it. Let the distance remain. Let the arm of attention lower. Let the question lose its urgency. Let the image blur at the edges. Let the sentence become unfinished. Let the unfinished sentence remain unfinished. There is peace in no longer completing every inner thought. Some thoughts do not deserve a conclusion. Some worries do not deserve a full hearing. Some memories do not need to be replayed to the end. They can fade in the middle. They can lose their shape. They can dissolve beneath the sound above you. Rain on canvas, warmth within, nothing to answer. The whole day has moved to the other side of the shelter. It may still be audible. That is all. You do not have to carry what can only be heard. The body beneath these words has done enough. The face can remain without expression. The mouth can remain without response. The shoulders can remain low. The hands can remain empty. The stomach can remain unguarded. The legs can remain still. The feet can remain where they are. There is nowhere else you must go. There is no better position in life that must be reached before you are worthy of this quiet. You do not need to become more successful before you can stop. You do not need to become more organized. You do not need to become more certain. You do not need to become easier to love. You do not need to become less affected by what happened. You have arrived as the person you are. That person may stay. There is room in the shelter for the one who worried. There is room for the one who tried too hard. There is room for the one who needed help. There is room for the one who became impatient. There is room for the one who said the wrong thing. There is room for the one who did not know what to say. There is room for the one who gave too much. There is room for the one who wanted to give nothing more. No part must be left outside in the rain. The burdens stay outside. You remain within, all of you. The part that is easy to love. The part that feels complicated. The part that stayed composed. The part that nearly cried. The part that understood everyone. The part that wanted someone to understand you. The part that handled the practical things. The part that quietly wished another person would take over. Every part can occupy this small, warm interior without competing for space. You do not have to choose which version of yourself deserves care. Care does not need a clean story. It does not need innocence. It does not need perfect behavior. It does not need a day you are proud to remember. It can reach you after a confused day, after an irritable day, after a lonely day, after a day when you were not your best, after a day when your best was offered and no one recognized it. The shelter does not ask which kind of day came before. It closes around the person who arrived. That person is you. No role is required here. No one needs you to be the strong one. No one needs you to know. No one needs you to decide. No one needs you to make the room easier. You are not responsible for the atmosphere of the night. The rain may sound the way it sounds. The darkness may be as deep as it is. Your thoughts may be as quiet or as active as they are. You are not required to improve any of it. You may be carried by conditions you did not create. The ground is already beneath you. The canvas is already above you. The warmth is already gathered around you. The clock is already moving slowly. Support can exist before you produce it. This is a different kind of living. Receiving without arranging. Being sheltered without building. Being cared for without first proving need. Let the unfamiliarity of that be harmless. You may not be used to it. You may not know how to receive without planning what you will give back. There is nothing to repay. The night has not opened an account. The shelter keeps no record. The warmth is not alone. You do not owe the morning a perfect version of yourself. You may wake as you wake, clear or cloudy, steady or still weary, hopeful or uncertain. The morning will not revoke its arrival because you did not use the night perfectly. It will come in its own way. It will bring light gradually. It will reveal only what needs to be seen then. You do not have to meet it early in your mind. Let it remain beyond the dark. Let it wait without resentment. Morning does not need to be invited. It knows the way. Perhaps you fear the first thought that will meet you when you wake. Perhaps you expect the responsibility to return before your eyes have fully opened. Perhaps the mind has a habit of handing you the day's weight before your feet have touched the floor. You do not need to prevent that future moment from here. Morning will have its own strength available. It will have light. It will have movement. It will have the small clarity that comes from no longer being inside the deepest part of the night. You can meet the first thought then, not now. You can meet the first task then, not now. You can decide how quickly to rise then, not now. The future version of you is not asking this version to remain awake on its behalf. Let that future self receive whatever the night can give, even if it is only a little distance from the day, even if it is only fewer hours of active worry, even if it is only the experience of lying beneath shelter and doing nothing to earn it. That is still something carried toward morning. A quieter beginning may grow from an unobserved hour. A steadier answer may grow from a mind that was not forced to produce one in the dark. A kinder choice may grow from a body that was not asked to spend every remaining resource. You do not need to make these outcomes happen. Let the possibility remain outside your responsibility. For now, only the rain, only the shelter, only the body becoming less involved with the world. The sound above may change. You do not need to change with it. A heavier rush can come. You remain inside. A brief stillness can come. You remain inside. A single drop can strike close above your head. You remain inside. The pattern can become uneven. I'll remain inside. The wind may shift the direction of the rain. You remain inside. Water may gather and release in a sudden stream. You remain inside. The canvas may answer with a deeper sound. You remain inside. The night may feel wider than before. You remain inside. Safety in this moment does not depend on perfect silence. It depends on not having to meet what is outside. You do not have to meet it. The day has no further appointment with you. It cannot ask for one more useful thought. It cannot request one more act of patience. It cannot call you back into a moment already lived. You are unavailable now. Not from anger, not from rejection, from completion. The hours had you. Now they release you. You may stop carrying the face you wore for everyone else. You may stop carrying the voice that sounded fine. You may stop carrying the posture that said you could manage. You may stop carrying the answer you gave because it was easier than explaining. No one is watching the shape you take in the dark. You may become unguarded. You may become ordinary. You may become quiet enough to disappear from your own attention. This disappearance is not loss. It is relief from self-monitoring. You do not need to observe yourself becoming peaceful. You do not need to witness your own descent. You can miss it. You can be gone before the next thought finishes. The body does not need your conscious company through every stage. It knows the road. You have traveled it before. Many nights have carried you past the point where words can follow. This one can carry you too. You are not required to trust the entire night. Trust this surface beneath you. Trust the warmth nearest your skin. Trust the next breath to arrive without being summoned. Trust the next moment to pass without being used. Then no more trust is required. The rest can happen without language. The rain is spending itself outside. It gives its weight to the canvas. It gives its sound to the dark. It gives its water to the ground. None of it must be stored in you. The day can spend itself there too. Its noise to memory, its unfinished work to tomorrow, its difficult words to the past, its expectations to the world beyond this shelter. You do not have to store them. You have been storage for enough. Enough names, enough needs, enough reminders, enough feelings, enough possibilities. The inside of you does not need to remain crowded. A little space can open, a little more, not through effort, through departure. One thought leaving, one demand losing its place, one worry passing down the outside, one old sentence becoming rain. You remain. The burden moves. You remain. The sound changes. You remain. The hour deepens. you remain, warm within, dry within, unreached by the weather. You may sense the warmth most clearly where the body meets what. Tea supports it. A quiet band along the back. A sheltered space around the feet. A small pocket of air near the hands. You do not need to search for warmth in every place. One place is enough. One place can remind the whole body that it is no longer exposed. Let that warmth remain ordinary. It does not have to spread on command. It does not have to become a wave. It can stay where it is, doing nothing more than being present. The rain does not cancel it. The darkness does not reduce it. The unfinished day does not take it away. Warmth can exist beside sadness. Shelter can exist beside uncertainty. Stillness can exist while a thought moves through. These truths can share the same small space. You do not need a perfect inner climate. You need only enough protection to stop standing in the weather. That protection is here, even when doubt speaks, even when memory returns, even when the body takes longer than expected. The canvas remains above you. The dry interior remains around you. The place beneath you continues to carry your weight without asking you to carry anything in return. Let yourself be the one who is carried. Not forever. Only through these dark hours. Only until light finds the outside of the canvas. Only until the body has received what it can receive. There is dignity in being carried. There is no failure in it. Every living thing depends upon support it did not create alone. You may depend upon this quiet without apology. You may become less separate from what supports you. You may stop holding yourself slightly above it. You may give your full weight. Nothing beneath you is offended by the weight. Nothing around you asks you to become lighter first. You can be exactly as heavy as you are. There may still be one small place that does not believe it is safe to stop. Do not force it. Place the vow beside it. I rest while rain spends itself outside. Let the line remain plain. No ceremony, no demand, only a choice for these hours. The word rest does not mean every muscle must already be loose. It means you are no longer volunteering for the work of the day. The rain may continue. The mind may continue a little. The body may need time. Your choice can still stand. Nothing else is needed from the vow. You do not need to repeat it again. You do not need to hold it in memory. It can stay where it was placed. The canvas above you does not repeat its promise. It only remains. You can remain too. Then even remaining can fade. The night can take over the keeping. The body can take over the breathing. The dark can take over the minutes. You can become less present to the world, less present to the room, less present to these words. The rain may soften. You do not need to know. The rain may continue until morning. You do not need to know. The clouds may move. You do not need to follow. The ground may drink what falls. You do not need to imagine it. Every outer thing can belong to itself. You belong within, warm, dry, unhurried. No more carrying, no more scanning, no more preparing, no more explaining, no more watching the clock. The clock has lain down. The hours are passing without pursuit. The last edge of the day can leave now. Let it go beyond the canvas. Let it become sound. Let the sound become distance. Let the distance become dark. Let the dark become nothing you must name. You do not need another promise. You do not need another instruction. You do not need another thought. Only the shelter, only the warmth, only the slow loss of words. The day is outside. The weather is outside. The questions are outside. You are within. You are warm. You are dry. You are no longer responsible. Rest now. Morning will be kind. The rain may sing. You need not answer.